So if you're tired of getting pulled around by your dog, this video is for you. So if you've seen the first video on how to walk your dog and you've already done all the luring stuff, then you're in the perfect place, because today we're going to show it with the leash, how to correct with the leash, and show a dog that already knows how to follow the food and now just taking it to the next level and also doing it out in public. So the first things first, we're still going to start with food. I want to make sure he's engaged. So the only thing I care about right now is to just make sure that he can take a treat. So I'm just going to give him one for free. All right, so he ate the food, so this is a great time where we can start doing this, because if your dog is overstimulated in the environment, it's gonna be much harder for you and you might not be that successful, and you're gonna have your dog pulling everywhere and you can't do anything about it. So right now, all we're gonna do, we're gonna guide him around a little bit just so he knows what we're doing. He's a right side dog, so I'm gonna put him over on the right side, give him some food on the right side. Good boy. And basically, I'm just gonna warm him up for this before doing any type of corrections on the leash, because I want it to be fair. Good boy. Nice. So he spat out his kibble, which is very average for him. So I'm gonna give him his treat. So all I'm doing, luring him, and I don't care about him stopping next to me. I'm just paying for him being on my right pocket. And I'm just moving around, U-turning him, making sure he's following. Good boy. Yeah, eat it, dude. Eat it. He ate the kibble. Tricked him. Okay, so now instead of me putting the food in his face, I'm just gonna walk and see how he does. So this is when it's a good sign for you to start adding the corrections, when the dog understands the behavior in the environment that you're in, because depending on how busy your environment is definitely gonna be a big factor for you and your dog. So now that I can see he's following without me luring him or anything, I'll add a little bit of correction or pressure if he's goofing off like that, right? So I'm adding a little tug on the leash, and that's all I'm doing. If he's following, great, I'll reward you. If you're goofing off, sniffing, or drifting off, then I'm gonna correct you on the leash a little bit. So he's lagging a little bit there, just little tugs on the leash. So it's not about the amount of force, it's about if you are consistent at being good at correcting them with good timing is when it's gonna be most effective, right? Because he knows that I'm gonna do this. Right, so right now I have no pressure on the leash at all, but I will grab the leash and add a little bit just to be a little more clear with him. Later on, once he gets better at walking, then I'll kind of just let it hang and let him correct himself. But for now, since we're teaching it to him, I'm gonna guide him a little bit. All right, so we're over here, we're moving. And since he turned with me on that one, good boy, giving him food. We're walking again. Good boy. Good boy. And as you can tell, he's very warmed up in this situation. We're not going on a real walk or anything yet, but we are about to right now, because now he looks really good, right? He can handle this area and he's walking back and forth. I only had to correct him probably like 3 or 4 times. So now we're gonna move, we're gonna take him on an actual walk. It's gonna be low distraction for now because that's the level he's at. And then we're gonna show you what to do when you're like actively walking and not just staying in one place right here. We're gonna go on an actual walk now. So all I'm gonna do, same thing, since we moved away from that little warm-up area, I wanna make sure he's somewhat engaged before we start so I can minimize the corrections I have to give him. So he's taking the food right there. So all I'm gonna do, I'm just gonna start walking that way. No commands or anything, I'm just teaching him the default rules of the leash, right? He just can't hit the end of the leash and he can't pick up stuff off the ground. So we're gonna start walking right now. And all we're doing, we're walking. Right, he's a little ahead right there, so I'm just gonna make a little U-turn. He knew what to do. I didn't even have to pull him on the leash, but I was ready to. Good boy. And all I'm doing, we're walking. Good boy. If he stops, when I stop, I'll reward. We haven't worked on the auto sit yet, that's why he's not sitting. And also, not every dog has to auto sit. I just like it as a preference, but you don't have to have your dog sit next to you when you stop. So we're just walking. He's on the hands-free leash, so if I need to correct him, I'm just gonna have to put my hand here. But right now, he's pretty good. He's in my bubble. And all we're doing is we're walking. He's doing pretty good. If he goes towards the bushes, I'm just gonna pull him out. Okay, and I'm just gonna check him. I'm gonna do a U-turn right here. As you can tell, I didn't pull the leash or anything. So here, he's just doing little sniffing, not a big deal here. But if he was to walk into the bush or like hop over the curb, then I'll do something about it. All right, we're U-turning again. So I'm gonna just pull him out of that. Good boy. I'm also gonna pay for eye contact whenever we walk, just so he knows that paying attention is a good thing and that he's gonna always be rewarded for that. Usually for me, if I'm training the dog to walk, once I see them start to accelerate is when I would U-turn. But in a normal walk, I usually wouldn't do that. But because I want to build good habits for him, I'm going to do that every single time. And also for when he pulls to the side like that, because same thing, right? If you have good timing and you're consistent with like countering what they do, then the dog learns much faster. But if you say they try to pull to the bushes 10 out of 10 times, or sorry, if they try to pull into the bushes 10 times and you only correct 5 of them, the dog's not really like clear of what they're allowed or not allowed to do. So if you correct it 10 out of 10 times, the dog's gonna learn much faster and they're gonna know that is the rule. All right, so I'm just making a little double U-turn there. Good boy. I was ready to correct him, but I didn't need to because he was U-turning totally fine. He's also never been here before, so this is a good example of what to do with a dog that's never been to a place, but in low distractions. Good boy. All right, so he's getting ahead, so I'm just gonna U-turn. And yeah, in the beginning, when you're just training your dog to walk, you are gonna do a lot of U-turns because they're not used to that routine yet. I haven't actually took him on a normal long walk yet, so this is the first time where we're actually making a lot of distance and not just treating it like a training environment. So I'm gonna add a little bit of pressure just to pull him back a little bit. Good boy. So I keep looking at him because right now he's training to walk. I'm not just gazing around, looking around, because when you're training your dog to walk, you want to make sure you're paying attention to them so you can reward for the good things and correct any little like things that they do, like pulling off to the side. So don't worry about looking around, having a great time, going on your phone, drinking your drink or whatever. Focus on your dog when you're training your dog. Good boy. But what I'm showing you right now is very similar to what we did over there when we were just in that small area, except now we just extended the range right now. Instead of only being in that 10-foot radius, now we've probably gone like, I want to say like 2 blocks-ish with him, but we're still doing the same thing. All we're doing is just going back and forth, rewarding when he turns with us, helping with the food when we need to, and helping with the leash when we need to. So he's going ahead. I'm just gonna go right here. He needed a little more help, so I'm gonna wiggle the leash a little bit. How long has it been on the camera?
Where's it even show? 5 minutes, 30 seconds.
Okay. Dino. So he's a little distracted, helping him with the leash. I actually don't see anything around. Yeah, so this would be very repetitive. This is what I would do when you're training your dog to walk. Don't worry about the distance, worry about how clean it is, and you turn wherever you need to, stop wherever you need to. So it's a very like high quality walk versus just letting them pull for 15 to 30 minutes. Because if you just let them pull, then they're just gonna learn how to pull, and their walking is gonna get progressively worse as you keep rehearsing that. So right now, I'm just gonna, good boy. I'm gonna reward him a couple last times, and I'm gonna wrap up here because I don't think you need to see a 15-minute video of me doing this over and over with him.